Atlas Fertilizers. Traditional fertilizers. Atlas Perfect GRO 14-14-14. Atlas Perfect GRO 14-14-14. A complete fertilizer supplying the major plant nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and the secondary nutrients calcium, sulfur and magnesium. Atlas Super GRO 16-20-0. Atlas Super GRO 16-20-0. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus, and the secondary nutrients calcium and sulfur. Non-traditional fertilizers. Atlas Basal, 12-12-17. Atlas Basal, 12-12-17. With sulfur, chlorine. The perfect basal fertilizer for rice and corn. With high potassium that improves the crop's yield quality. Atlas Basal plus Zinc 15-5-15-1.5 Zn. Atlas Basal plus Zinc 15-5-15-1.5 Zn. With 1.5% zinc, 8% sulfur. Best for irrigated rice, provides complete and readily available nutrients in response to widespread zinc deficiency in the Philippines. Atlas High Yield GRO 17-7-17. Atlas High Yield GRO 17-7-17. With sulfur, calcium, chlorine. Best basal fertilizer formulated for rice for optimum vegetative growth and development of productive panicles due to its high and balanced nitrogen and potassium content. Contains optimum phosphorus for root development to produce more tiller and better absorption of other nutrients. Atlas Top Dress 17-0-17. Atlas Top Dress 17-0-17. With sulfur, calcium, chlorine. Specially made for top dress application for rice with well-balanced nitrogen and potassium content that promotes formation of productive panicles. It enhances grain filling, thus increases yield. Atlas Urea Superphosphate 20-10-0. Atlas Urea Superphosphate 20-10-0. With sulfur, calcium. The only compound fertilizer with the highest nitrogen content for best vegetative growth. Combined with the right amount of phosphorus readily available to crops for proper development. A product of a unique French technology. Atlas 14-5-20 plus 0.02 B for fruit-bearing crops. With 0.02% boron, sulfur, calcium, chlorine. The best fertilizer for fruit-bearing crops, with boron for high-quality yield. Atlas Cocoa GRO. Atlas Cocoa GRO. With sulfur, calcium, chlorine. The fertilizer grade supplying complete nutrients required by coconut. Atlas Solo Phos 0-18-0. Atlas Solo Phos 0-18-0. Contains high amount of phosphorus that promotes optimum root development for maximum absorption of nutrients, resistance to lodging, and enhance crops' vigor. Best basal fertilizer for nursery production and upon field transplanting for fruits and plantation crops. Atlas Kieserite 0-0-0-25 MgO. Atlas Kieserite 0-0-0-25 MgO. 25% magnesium oxide, 10% sulfur. The only fertilizer with highest readily available magnesium, MgO, content for all crops. Can be applied to all types of soil regardless of soil pH. Atlas, 12-12-17-2 MgO. Atlas, 12-12-17-2 MgO. With sulfur, calcium, chlorine. Complete fertilizer with magnesium especially formulated for oil palms. Can also be used to other crops. Atlas, 10-15-20S. Atlas, 10-15-20S. With sulfur, calcium, magnesium, boron. Complete fertilizer especially formulated for tobacco. Atlas, 10-30-10. Atlas, 10-30-10. A complete fertilizer supplying the major plant nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium plus the secondary nutrients, calcium and sulfur. Atlas, 10-10-10 plus 5 Ha plus 2 Fa. Traded fertilizers. Atlas Urea 46-0-0 fertilizer. Atlas Urea 46-0-0. 46% nitrogen. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrient nitrogen. Atlas Ammonium Chloride 25-0-0 fertilizer. Atlas Ammonium Chloride 25-0-0. 25% nitrogen. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrient nitrogen. Atlas Ammonium Sulfate 21-0-0 fertilizer. Atlas Ammonium Sulfate 21-0-0. 21% nitrogen. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrient nitrogen. Atlas Diammonium Phosphate 18-46-0 fertilizer. Atlas Diammonium Phosphate 18-46-0. 18% nitrogen, 46% phosphorus. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus. Atlas Muriate of Potash 0-0-60 fertilizer. Atlas Muriate of Potash 0-0-60. 60% potassium. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrient potassium. Atlas Sulfate of Potash 0-0-50 fertilizer. Atlas Sulfate of Potash 0-0-50. 50% potassium. A fertilizer supplying the primary plant nutrient potassium.
Salamat po sa panonood. I-like ang video para mapanood ng mas maraming Pilipino. Subscribe sa aking channel at pindutin ang kampana para makatanggap ng abiso pag may bago akong video. Salamat!